Hi, it's Bren. We're doing an episode of Things by Bren. Today we are with Holly McCuiston, and she's done some federal time. Did about, how long did you say, 3 years?
3 years.
And she's been out for about 3 years. Had a pretty rough go of things. She's in a very small town, and it's made it very hard for her to basically overcome the reputation that she had in the past, finding a job, but she didn't run from it. She's still in that town. She's trying to overcome those things and make a difference. So, Holly, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, what what happened to you, and just kind of a general story.
Okay, so I have like a past, of doing drugs and following the wrong path. But this was at a time where I had to quit doing drugs. I've been clean for over 3 years. When they came at me with an indictment from 3 years before for sitting in a vehicle with someone who sold an ounce of dope, and came at me 3 years later because of my reputation from before. They figured that was the best they could do, is come at me with that. So yeah, I got 3 years. I got the most time out of all of them. So
Oh my goodness! And the time that you got that time around probably wasn't even realistic.
no, it wasn't really great. I mean, when I first got the charge, they came at me with a 10-year sentence.
Wow.
And yeah, and basically my background of any kind of trouble that they could actually give me for was driving without a license, which at one point when I was like 20, I think they sent me to prison for driving without a license, which is no longer a felony. But
Right.
so yeah, so I got 3 years for this one. Yeah, it was just because, like I said, I live in a very small town where once they got radar for you, they pretty much come after you for pretty much anything. So that 3 years later, I was sitting at home and came knocking at my door with
Yep.
an indictment.
That's the way the
Yep.
feds work. There's nothing fair
Yeah.
about their system.
No.
Mhm.
And then when I went to court, the judge is like, and I had put myself in before this had happened. That's why I was clean. I put myself in a treatment center. I got myself clean. I wasn't even under the radar, for any kind of illegal activity whatsoever. And so when they came to my house and knocked on the door and said an indictment, I'm like, you're full of crap, and they're like, no, it was from 3 years ago. They wanted to give me 10 years, like I said. And then the judge is like, well, this is 3 years back, and everything we want to put her in prison for, like to get treatment, to deal with her issues or whatever, she's already done on her own. So because it's the minimum mandatory or whatever, they had to give me something. So I had signed a plea bargain for 5 years. So I was pretty much set up for five. Like, I'm gonna go do 5 years. This is what I'm gonna do. Well, then it came back at me. The judge wasn't happy. He said, "No, I'm not gonna give you 5 years. I'm giving you 3." So.
Well, you got lucky there, really.
Yes. From 10,
Sounds like
10
you
to
had a
5 to 3.
prosecutor that was after you.
Yeah, it was definitely like the judge was very upset with the prosecutor, saying, I feel like you guys have like came in my own courtroom and railroaded me, to make it sound like this woman was out here doing all this stuff and continued to do it, which was not true.
You had already stopped using drugs, put yourself
Yes.
in rehab, and was trying to change your life, and they came back on old charges. Yeah, I
yes,
get
3 years.
So
3 years, and I was like, what are you talking about?
How much
like,
probation did you get?
I got 4 years. I'm actually still on probation.
Wow. So see, you not only did you do 3 years, you really got
Yes.
7, because probation in the feds is a nuisance. Talk to me about that. What do you got to do? What do you got to do with probation in the feds?
Well, I've been pretty lucky since, like I have, I don't have any dirty UAs. I haven't had any issues with my probation officer at all. So it's been kind of.
You have to take a drug test.
Yes, yes, I do. It's very inconvenient. Like now with my new job, like with truck driving and stuff like that, it's like I have to like stop. They all have to stop what they're doing because I have to go in.
Right. And you have to go when they say come in. There's no working around.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You can't like, oh, well, can I do it like tomorrow, or can I do it next week? It's like you need to be here today, or that's how it is.
It is. Now, did you have to do any classes when you first got out?
No, actually, I didn't. I didn't have to, which I got lucky there. And I think it's probably because I had already done it and I had been clean for so long. And then when I was in prison, I did the RDAP program.
Right. So that is kind of your class, right? Now, you were supposed to get time off for doing RDAP. Did it work out?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I had done the program. I was a month shy of the program to be completed. I was like the head senior guide. I'd done all the things I was supposed to do. I was actually a model person. And as I walked by a CO, I touched her hair and got a assault charge, and so they put me in the shoe for 5 months and took my program.
So you lost everything that you did. Didn't even get the certificate for doing that.
No.
Explain what
So that's why
Explain what RDEP is.
RDEP is a really intense drug and alcohol program where you go in and you do, there's like four stages of it, where you go in and you do these booklets about self change, and where you have to like cognitive thinking, and you pretty much have to deal with your issues from the past. You go to counseling, you go to groups, you it's ran actually by prisoners, basically, mostly. You have you have the officers
Post
that's there
prison.
to yeah, you have the officers, of course, but like, when issues come up, you deal with them as far as a community. They call it a community. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like brand, like we live completely in a different section of the prison. So it's just the RDAP
People in there. Mm-hmm.
prison, inmates that are in that unit. So
So
we're
you
kind of,
touched a correctional officer's hair. I know touching correctional officers is forbidden in there.
yeah.
She could have let that go, or he. I'm assuming it's a female. She could have let it
Yeah.
go. So what happened? I mean, what was going?
Well, I was in the GED program, and where we had our meeting, where we did our schooling, was a very small area, and she was sitting by the door. And as I went around her, I touched her hair, and she's like, "Oh, Miss McCuiston, did you touch my hair?" And I was like, "Well, if I did, I didn't mean to. I didn't even know I did. So then next thing I know, I'm getting called to the lieutenant's office, and I'm going to the SHU for first it was for inappropriate touching or something, and then so I was like, "Why are you even here in the SHU?" And I'm like, "I don't even know, like I don't even know what's going on." And the next thing I know, they came at me and got me for an assault charge on her for touching her, I guess.
Wow. Now, did you know this individual? Had
She
you?
was the teacher, like the officer teacher.
So it's basically just your word against hers. And I'm sure there were
Yeah.
cameras, but of course that never got looked at.
No, of course not. So I said in the SHU for more than 5 months. While I was there, I was assaulted by another inmate, which of course I didn't put hands on them because I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna get in trouble.
Right.
Which I got pretty much no medical attention whatsoever. My nose was broke, my cheek got broke, and yeah.
That was a pretty bad fight.
And yeah, she was Samoan. She beat me up. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But I didn't touch her back because I was like, I just wanted to go home. And I sat in the SHU for 5 months before they even sent me to Wasika. I was in Dublin, California, and they sent me to Wasika. That's where I finished my time.
So how much time did you have left when you went to Wasika?
So I had, like I said, I was just getting ready to graduate the program. So this was happened in January, 1st of January, and I was supposed to go home in February. So I finished the rest of my time. Like I did almost all my time, pretty much all of it. I did 5 months in community, like the after, you get out, you go to the work center or the halfway house, or whatever you want to call it.
So where did you do your halfway at?
I did in Idaho, Boise, Idaho.
Mm-hmm. What was that like?
That was okay. I mean, of course you have problems, wherever you go, but
yeah.
I got 2 jobs and just didn't stay real busy. Tried to just stay out of there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, stay out of there as long as I could. Stay so I didn't have to be there all day. So
yeah, good for you. So you get out of halfway, and talk to me about, you go back to your hometown. What was that like coming out? You said you had a reputation, and then you've been to prison, and now
I was kind of worried about coming back and like having to live in this area because, like I said, once they've got your radar for you, it's pretty difficult not to like to move on with anything. I mean, if the police there don't like you, they just don't like you. That's just how it is. So, but I kind of just continued with, like I just stayed to myself and just like went back to school to get my CDL. Did that. Just stay away from old people, old places.
That's good for you that you did that. It was probably hard. Did they try to come around, or did you?
No, not really. I got a really good support system. Like they're very supportive and whatever. I don't deal with any of them. I don't really hang out with any of them. And then we got new police officers, so they don't know me, so that's good.
Well, that's good too then. Yes.
Yeah, that's real good.
Do you drive your truck out of town, out of state?
I can't. I mean, I can if I want to. My probation officer doesn't have a problem with it. I mean, I got pretty lucky, I think, with the probation office that I got. Like the probation officer that I got, he's really good. Like I could like call him and talk to him, and like I don't feel like I'm being intimidated or, like
Right.
where state probation down here is a little. I would rather do federal probation here in this little town than state. That's for sure.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
how much have you tried to get off early?
I asked him about that, and he told me that they don't let us off early, which I heard they were doing that, but
Federal does do that. They absolutely let you off early. You got to apply for it. But let me tell you, your attorney can apply for it. The same attorney that you
I
have
asked him that too, and he's like, "Oh, we don't do that." I'm like, "What?" I didn't ask my attorney, but I did talk to my probation officer, Franks, and he did tell me that. Well, they're not doing that, and I'm like, "Well," so I did start writing a letter to my attorney, but to my judge, but I get off in June of this next year, so I'm just kind of like,
not too far. Right.
That's yeah. By the time I got through, I think to the court, I would already be off. So
yeah, it doesn't take that long if the paperwork's filed. You can file it yourself, but it helps if your attorney is in contact with your PO, and then the PO can either approve it or not. So if they approve, say they don't have a problem with it, then usually it goes by pretty quick unless your prosecutor decides to come back on you. But that's unfortunate that that's going on there for you. But
yeah,
you just got a short time left on it, and you've done well. You're working.
Yes, I've had no violations. I've had, no issues. Like he barely talks. I mean, he barely even comes around. That's how he's like, you're one of my people that I don't even worry about. Like I don't have to worry about.
That's good, because I'm sure there's a lot that they do have to worry about.
Oh, I'm sure. He says I make his job a little bit easier, which is good.
How many hours a week are you working driving a truck?
A lot. Right now it's harvest, so we're working a lot of hours. Like we work from anywhere from 12 to 15 hours.
Oh my
just kind of been. Yeah,
but it's keeping you out of trouble.
Oh yeah.
And you have to get drug tested for the job too, or do they just do
I did well just when you first started, we got drug tested, and this year's just been a really hard year for just me, like personally, like my mom just passed away. My friend's dad passed away. I mean, just been a bad year for death and
but you didn't relapse and you didn't go back.
No.
So you're doing awesome.
No. But people were thinking, oh, this time like, there's death is like my mom passed away and it was hard on me, but like I said, I got a really good support system, which is great. And so it makes it a little bit easier,
What would you tell people that are coming out and facing the things that you faced? What kind of advice would you give them?
I mean, I would just say like we're the ones that's gonna make a difference in what happens to us. Like we can have there's always gonna be people that's gonna discourage you or put you down or think, negative thoughts or like about you, but just prove them wrong, do things different. Don't let what other people say around you or your past history, because if I did that, I would already be back in prison,
That's wonderful advice.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
You live in a small town and you just like, oh, I can't, but you can. It's like, you don't have to see people if you don't want to see people. You don't talk to people if you don't want to talk to them. What people say around you, if they're not taking care of you, supporting you, paying your bills, who cares?
Who cares? That's a good way of looking at it.
Who cares?
Take care of yourself. Yes. Now, do you have children?
Yes, I have children. I have 6 children. They're grown though. Okay. But I have grandkids.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah. That's wonderful.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, if somebody needs help and would like to talk to you, maybe they have a similar situation and they just need some advice, can they get in touch with you? How could they do that?
Most definitely. I mean, definitely, because like I said, I've had not the best upbringing of, but I've changed my life, and I've had a lot of people who didn't think I was going to be able to do it, or even didn't think I could,
That's wonderful. You changed your mindset so you could do it.
Yeah. It's me, but it's not them that I care about. It's me knowing that I can. So as long as you just, you can. Nobody's going to make your life better but yourself. If you can't do it, then no one's going to do it for you.
That's so true. And a lot of people want to blame. And
I blamed people for many years. Trust me, I did that, and all it just gave me more trouble.
Yep, you got to take accountability for your own actions.
Yeah, absolutely. Take responsibility for your actions, because once you're the one who makes that choice. Nobody makes it for you.
Right.
So you just have to make different choices, go a different path.
Very good advice. Well, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it. We had some technical difficulties, so we got started a little late.
We did. But we got it.
When you when we get done, don't hang up because I got to ask you another question that I'm not going to have on the
Okay.
recording. I got something for you. But thank you so much, Holly, and your advice has been wonderful. And it is possible for people with a record, people with a felony, fed, state, whatever you've done, you can change and you can have a wonderful life.
Yes.
You can be successful. You can be happy and reach for it. If you want it, do it. So thank you very much for joining us. And if anybody needs to get in touch with us, find me and I'll get you in touch with her. And if you want to visit, please, we're here to help. Thank you very much.